Protiviti's The Modern CIO video series brings the evolving challenges and opportunities facing CIOs into focus. In just 5 minutes, get executive-level commentary on compliance, risk, digital transformation, and how to lead through disruption.
So why is cloud spend getting so much attention right now? I think the number one thing that it has to do with is adoption. So obviously as adoption increases, people are going to start seeing increase in usage and therefore increase in their bills. And I think just like any normal human being, when you start seeing an increase in bills, you start to figure out what can I do to try and manage this in a better way than I'm doing or have been doing up until now. And I think that adoption curve is also in an exponential situation when you also see the bills therefore increasing exponentially. I don't think so much that the financial institutions or any institution for that matter is really rethinking the strategy because of the cloud spend. I think it's more about figuring out how to manage the cloud spend in whatever, private cloud, hybrid cloud, whatever model you've decided to adopt. How do you go about managing that spend more effectively? I wouldn't necessarily let cost be the driver of strategy. If you do not have a plan on how to manage cost, it's going to sneak up on you. And again, as usage increases, and which is a good thing, usage increases means you're adopting more innovative technology. You've got dev teams that are pumping things into the cloud. The issue is if you don't have a plan to manage that spend, or have a function to manage that spend, or have control functions to manage that spend, it's going to surprise you. So yes, there is a lot of buzz around FinOps. I guess FinOps kind of follows on the concept of DevOps and really, I think, talks to the fact that you need some sort of function, doesn't necessarily need to be a whole organizational unit, but you need some sort of function that sits at the intersection between technology, finance, and procurement to really take a look at this particular topic of how are we procuring cloud infrastructure, who's using it, for what purpose, and how much is it costing us, and looking at the big picture beyond any one dev team possibly could. So I don't think it's the same for every organization because I think it's based on maturity. So you've got organizations that are early into their cloud journey, and for them, I think obviously this thing is all about being on a maturity scale, and for them, if you're on a lower end of the adoption scale, you need less controls, you need probably less of a FinOps function than if you're at the upper end of that scale. So I think it varies based on, again, maturity and how the cloud is being used. I'm taken back to a conversation that I had with a client maybe about a year and a half ago at a conference related to FinOps, and asked the question of what is the most challenging part of managing cloud spend. And the point that he brought up to me is it's not so much about finding where the opportunities are, it's about how do I get 80 dev teams to perform differently. And so I think it's both, but the kind of last mile problem is more of a behavior thing. I think there are opportunities that I would call low-hanging fruit that are likely sitting in infrastructure that is more on the legacy side, where you're probably able to go and find opportunities for savings, and that involves simple things like turning off environments when they're not being used, looking at the types of resources and seeing if different resources can be used for whatever the application is at a lower cost. And then I think on the innovation side, there's an aspect to cloud, which is how do you design for cost in mind? I mean, the whole thing previously used to be designed for performance in mind, but now there's an opportunity to design such that you can design as part of your architecture, you can design in a way that you're thinking about cost ahead of time versus later. And so whether that's using PaaS services, cloud native services, there are opportunities to start thinking about that even before you get a bill.